compared to a total lockdown in March last year under the first movement control order, he's thankful. At least under the MCO 3.0, he can still trade.
Kita dapat pagi, besok habis. Macam itulah sekarang. Kalau lockdown, habislah kita.
Terima kasih. And for many street peddlers in Malaysia, eking out a living has just gotten a lot more harder, with many Malaysians now told to work from home.
Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin, who refused to reinstate a full lockdown, said he needed to protect some 2.8 million lower-income earners that work in the informal sector. Instead of going back to a full lockdown, the government has mandated all shops, including gas stations, malls, restaurants and eateries to close by 8 p.m. Given that dining in is already prohibited, restaurant owners say cutting operating hours will further hurt business.
It will be a problem is that the people who are out there working, they can't get their food within a certain hours. So that's unfortunate. Our hands are tied. Whatever cash flows we had is over, finished.
Apart from retail, food, hospitality and tourism sectors are among the hardest hit. Meanwhile, the small and medium-scale enterprises that account for 40% of the economy expects half of the 1.3 million SMEs to shut if MCO 3.0 is prolonged.
During MCO 1, they still got cash on hand. So they are able to sustain for 3 months, even until today. But I think majority of SME, I think more than 40 or 50% SME still breathing. They are already in the red. So because they already used up all the cash, pay all the expenditure, salary, and the rental, so they got no money to pay their bank loan.
Still, Finance Minister Zafrul Aziz is optimistic that the economy can achieve a targeted growth of between 6 and 7.5% this year. Economists, however, are less sanguine.
COVID doesn't give you any chance for optimism, unfortunately. The longer they delay, this bringing down the curve of deaths as well as the infections, I think the longer that happens, it's going to make the chance of Tunku Zafrul's forecast more and more challenging.
The impact will be less severe compared to the nationwide lockdown under MCO 1.0 in March to May last year. However, the economic losses will certainly be greater than MCO 2.0, not just due to the more restricted movements and social gatherings as well as tighter SOPs for economic activities, but also heightened consumer fears and investors' risk aversion to the rising COVID-19 infection rates.
Private consumption, that accounts for 60% of the GDP, he said, will be affected as households cut back on spending.
Now, essentially, the tighter the lockdown, the more costly it is to the economy. Now, economists say the government must now tighten enforcement and ramp up vaccination, including for the economic frontliners, because it's only by containing the pandemic can the government safely open the economy and pave the way for sustainable economic recovery. Melissa Goh, CNA, Kuala Lumpur.
Britain's competition regulator is reviewing AstraZeneca's $39 billion buyout of US-based Alexion Pharmaceuticals. The review comes on the back of concerns that the acquisition could be anti-competitive. AstraZeneca agreed to buy Alexion last December in its largest ever deal. The Anglo-Swedish drug maker is trying to diversify from its core cancer business. AstraZeneca expects to boost growth by introducing Alexion's rare disease medicines to China and other emerging markets. Alexion's best-selling drug, Soliris, is used against a range of rare immune disorders, and AstraZeneca hopes an improved version of the drug has even greater market potential. And to Business Update, back to you, Don.
Liz, thank you very much. Singapore has 7 new government kindergartens in the pipeline. This will take the total number of centres to 57 by the year 2025. They can accommodate 7,900 Kindergarten 1 kids altogether. The new centres will be co-located with existing primary schools. 3 of them will be in the east and another 3 in the northeast. 1 will be in the west. Each will offer between 100 and 120 places per cohort. The Education Ministry says that having the centres in primary schools helps preschoolers transition to primary 1. Registration details will be released a year before the centres open.
Getting a midnight snack may now be easier for more than 6,000 residents in the western corner of Singapore. A local tech firm has brought an automated convenience store to the heartlands for the first time. Another 17 such stores are expected to be rolled out across the island by year end. Alif Amshah has more.
There's a new kid on the block in this Jurong West neighbourhood. Powered by robotics and artificial intelligence, it sells fresh eggs, vegetables and other essentials 24 hours a day.
I think it's really exciting to see technology infiltrating the heartlands. Accessibility to amenities is very important, especially now we are all working from home. So having a machine nearby in the area makes it very easy for like a quick grocery run or like a quick fix when I crave for something.
At any one time, this machine can hold up to 300 products, and that includes self-care items like medicated oil, a wide selection of drinks, snacks like potato chips. But what I'm actually craving for is a chicken wrap, so I'm going to add that into my order. And when the digital payment is made, this robotic arm inside the machine swings into action. Within seconds, the item can be collected. The owner of the automated store plans to install 50 units across Singapore by the end of 2022, with 20 in place by this year end.
Our operating cost is a lot lower than the typical convenience store, so we can price our items cheaper and we are able to scale faster as well. In the future, we'll be focusing on one, HDB estates, two, the high learning institutions, as well as some of the industrial parks.
To date, the company has 2 other stores in 2 student hostels.
And before we go, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong sends his greetings to all Buddhists at this Vesak Day, which is tomorrow. Thanks for your company here on Singapore Tonight. Headlines anytime at CNA.Asia.
And you can find us on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. Good night.
Look forward to brighter skies. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
It's a human catastrophe of epic proportions. Thousands are dying every day in India as it battles the raging coronavirus crisis.
हमारे सामने उन्होंने दम तोड़ा, हम कुछ नहीं कर पाए। मेरी वाइफ चली गई, मेरे दोनों ब्रदर इन लॉ गए और मदर इन लॉ एक्सपायर्ड हो गई।
Has India lost control of the pandemic?
If you step out right now, you step out to die.
India's COVID catastrophe. Insight, Thursday on CNA.
Every day, the financial world goes through dramatic rise and falls. We'll track the biggest market movers and show you where the opportunities lie. Get the experts' take on the performance of key indices. Plus all the analysis to help you understand forces driving global economies. The daily business news you need, only on CNA. This segment is brought to you by Xeon Corporation. This June, Asia's